Thank you for renting from Easy Camper Rental. This is a walkthrough of the Forest River 23 DBH 26-foot bunkhouse with a slide. It is a 26-foot box length and a 29-foot total length with one slide out on the driver's side. A few days prior to your pickup date, you will receive an email with online documents to sign. Once you sign and finalize those documents, you will receive the final email with the exact pickup location and a code for the lockbox for the keys and all other pertinent pickup and drop-off information. The drop-off location will be the same as the pickup location unless otherwise agreed. Please return the camper clean inside and outside unless the Easy Clean add-on has been selected, which can be at any time. Please remember to treat the equipment as your own. Always think 10 feet above you and 30 feet behind you while you're towing. Always take wider corners, and when traveling through tight spaces, go through as straight as possible. Remember, park strip trees are the #1 damage to the awning. So if you do have park strip trees at your house, please check the height of those before towing it to your house. Those must be over 11 feet for the trailer to clear that, or else you will hit the trailer on those park strip trees. Also remember curbs, again, that's taking wider corners so you don't hit the curb with the trailer, and steep dips. So for example, coming in or out of a gas station might have a really steep dip and the trailer might hit on it in the front or the back. Also remember that the speed limit is 65 miles per hour on the freeway and 70 if you're in a rural area, regardless of the posted speed limit. So really you shouldn't tow above 70. 65 is even pushing it. Things just get sketchy after that. Again, what we will do is we will go over retrieving the keys, unlocking the trailer, hooking up the trailer, walking around the outside of the trailer, and then walking around the inside of the trailer. When it comes time to pick up the trailer, it will be at the location indicated and the trailer will be all ready to go, but it will be locked up. The code, which is in the email of the trailer, will be here if there are multiple trailers there. And then the code for the lockbox for the keys will also be in that email. And here's the lockbox on top of the battery cover. So you slide the top portion open, you put the code in, you open it up, and then the keys are in here. This trailer has 4 keys, so it has 2 silver ones, which the first silver one here looks like this, and it will open the outside door here. The other 2 purple keys here, one is to this door, and then one is to the other door down there. There's no indication of which one's which, so I wish they were the same, but you just have to try one until it works there. And then the last key here is another silver one, and it usually says master on it. It is for the red hitch lock on the front of the trailer. So we'll go ahead and take that hitch lock off, and then we will go ahead and hook up the trailer. Okay, hooking up the trailer is fairly simple. First, the adjustable hitch here, which is included with the rental. It comes with the 2 5/16 inch ball, which is what you need to tow this trailer with. There is an optional add-on for a weight distribution hitch if you'd like to use that. If you've rented that as the add-on, there is another video of that in the description of this video if that's what you have rented, and that will go through that. But this is the adjustable hitch, which works perfectly fine. It can go a drop or a rise, so if the L goes up or it goes down when you put it in the receiver here. So it just depends on the height of your truck. So the easiest way to do this is you put the adjustable hitch in the receiver, and then you measure from the ground to the top of the ball 22 inches. And that should get you about a level tow. There is a tape measure in the cabinet above the sink in a plastic bin that you can use to make that measurement. Again, it's 22 inches from the ground to the top of the ball when you've got the adjustable hitch installed. And again, it's the 2 5/16 inch ball, which is the larger of the 2 balls on this hitch. So easy enough is that you install the hitch, you back up your tow vehicle until the ball is underneath the coupler here, and then you just crank it down. You don't have to be perfectly spot on, because you can move the front of this trailer around if you need to. but you'll want to take the jack all the way up. I won't do it in this video, but you'll crank it all the way up. You'll pull this pin out and you'll slide this latch forward. Now if this latch gets like stuck right here, it's not sliding all the way forward, that means that the ball is too far back in the coupler. The easiest way to fix that is just pull forward a little bit, and then the ball will pull forward in there. Or sometimes you can kind of just shake this and it will slide the ball into place. So you want to make sure that latch is there, and then you're going to put the pin back in so that it doesn't come unlatched. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your safety chains here and you're going to hook them on one side, or on each side, like so. Then you're going to take your breakaway cable. What happens if everything else fails, this pulls and it locks the brakes on the trailer. And then you're going to take your 7-way connection and you'll go ahead and plug it into your 7-way on your trailer. You want to make sure that that is snug and that is plugged in. Now if you rented the Bluetooth trailer brake controller, it is a module. It will be inside the camper when you pick it up, and that's a module that goes in between the 7-way connection and the tow vehicle, and then you download an app on your phone and you Bluetooth to it, and then your phone is the trailer brake controller. So really simple to do that, to hook all of that up. And what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and do a walk around of the outside of the trailer, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're here on the outside of the trailer, and the first thing I want to note is the #1 damaged item is the awning. So again, always think 10 feet above you. If there's any trees where you're going, or any structures or anything like that, just make sure you have the clearance to clear the roof. You'll need another 2 feet to clear the AC. So again, really think 12 feet above you. But again, if you have any, park strip trees where you're going, or trees at the campground or so on, you just want to make sure that you can clear those. So again, if someone has to get out and spot it, do that, because that's a lot better than having to pay for a new awning. So just again, also watch for the awning. And if you are at a campground and you are leaving for the day, do not leave the awning out, because some wind can come by or inclement weather or something like that and break the awning that way too. So again, if you're away from the camper or asleep or so on, don't have the awning extended. So first thing is the storage area here on the side. In here you are going to have your adjustable hitch. You have the crank down for your stabilizing jacks. You're going to have leveling blocks. You're going to have some extra chocks. We do dump the tanks for you when you return. However, you do have sewer hoses if you need them while you're out, or whatever you might need them for. There's also a freshwater hose with a pressure regulator on it. Make sure that that pressure regulator stays on it, because you don't want to use the full pressure. You might make a line leak or something like that. Alright, one thing to note with the stabilizing jack, so this is the crank, the stabilizing jack is here, it's on all 4 corners. You level the trailer first, and then you stabilize it with these stabilizing jacks. Do not level the trailer with these jacks. They are not intended to level. You will bend them that way. So again, you level front to back with the tongue jack there, and then you level side to side with these leveling blocks. So you put these leveling blocks down on one side of the trailer, and you pull the trailer up, and it will level the trailer side to side. And then you can use the chocks to chalk all 4 wheels so it stays there. And then you put, once it's all settled and good to go, leveled, then you go ahead and use the stabilizing jacks here and you stabilize it. Some of the trailers have scissor stabilizing jacks, and some have these stabilizing jacks. If they have these stabilizing jacks, there is a video in the description of this video where you can watch how these work, but they work basically the same, where you put them up and down with the crank, which is in the storage area. Again, these are stabilizing jacks, so you use them to stabilize the trailer after you've leveled it side to side with the leveling block, and front to back with the tongue jack. You can use this to stabilize, and there's one on each corner of the trailer. Going to the front here, you got your dual propane tank. You do have a hatch on top here, but really the easiest way to do this is just take the cover off like that. So now you got your tanks here, you turn them on, And then right here it will tell you if there's propane flowing or not. So this goes green. If there's not propane flowing, this will be red. And then you have a little arrow here. So right here there's an arrow, it's pointing to this tank, which it means it's pulling propane from this tank. In theory, there has an auto switch over, so if this tank runs out, it should auto switch over to this one. I can't guarantee you that, but that's how it's supposed to work, but you can switch it to the other tank pretty easily by going that way. If for some reason something happened, like maybe this pigtail here is leaking and you can smell it and you know this is leaking, then what you'd want to do is just use this one, leave this propane tank closed, and then if you ran out of propane on this side, you could just take this tank off and swap it to this side. Again, not the most ideal, but that is a little trick that you can do in case there is something like that that does happen. Going around the side here, this is the outside access to the water heater, and I'll show you the control panel on the inside. But one thing is that sometimes there can be errors, like it can fail and the control panel will give you an error. It also beeps. The way to clear that is you can turn this on and off. So you would turn this off and then turn it back on. That's going to clear the code. So one common thing that happens is that these are designed to, if they sense freezing temperatures, they will ignite to keep themselves from freezing. But if you have the propane off, they can't ignite. So then they give an E1 code, which is no propane, and then the control panel beeps. And so you have to come out here and turn the propane on, and then you have to turn this off and turn it back on to clear that code. So you can shut this. Just be mindful of this little grommet here because it sometimes gets caught on the exhaust. And you've got your other stabilizing jack on the outside. If you have cable at a campground or something, you can plug it in there. You do have sensors, pressure sensors on these tires here. So this little thing is green, which means the pressure is good. But if your tire went flat or whatever and you couldn't tell by looking at it, then you can tell by this it will go red. So that's kind of nice there. If you do want to drain the fresh water tank, there's a drain right there. And there's also an overflow. So if you can see back there, there's a little hose next to that drain. If you are filling the tank, the freshwater tank, and water starts coming out of that, that means it's overflowing. So you can just stop filling at that point. But that's what that is. And so if you've got it full and you go somewhere and you notice there's water leaking out of there, it's just because you got a full tank. Going over here, speaking about the freshwater connection, that's right here. So that's how you'd fill the fresh water tank. Now you do have a city water connection, and so if you're at a campground or a house or something like that, that's where you can connect the hose to the fresh water. This way, if you are connected to this and you have pressurized water here, you do not need to use the water pump on the inside because it uses the pressure from the source. Down here you've got your 30 amp connection. So you do have this cord here, which is in the storage area also, and then this adapter is in the plastic bin above the sink. So you might not need this adapter. If you are at a campground, you have 30 amp connections, you're just gonna plug in with this. If you are going to like a smaller generator that only has a 15 amp plug, then you can use this to go from 30 down to 15 amp. So, and again, you'd plug in there and then run the adapter that way. This is an outside shower. Just ask that you don't use it. It's really not that functional. You do have the outside light here. It's controlled with a light switch on the outside. It only works at night. Must have a sensor on it. You do have outside storage. This is the storage area underneath the bunks. So that's some more storage there. Your sewer connection is here. So on your right side is your black tank. That is your toilet. On your left side is your gray tank. That's your shower and your sinks. So again, you drain black first and then gray. Going around the outside of the trailer here, you do have your full-size spare here. You do have your backup camera right there. Again, the backup camera works off of a connection to your phone. You download an app. It's something we can't support, but it is really cool if you can get it to work, and it'll do more On the inside of the trailer, I want to show you how that works. Here is your black water tank flush. So you would connect a hose to this while you're flushing out your black water tank if you are emptying the black water. This is a door that goes directly into the bathroom. So that's that door, which is kind of nice if you don't want to go all the way through the trailer to get to the bathroom if you're in a rush or something. You got your outside speakers here. You got other outlets. You have another cable connection here. This is the exhaust for your heater, so don't touch that if your heater's on. Again, these outlets are 120 volts, so they are going to only work off of an electrical connection. In here, there's actually nothing in here, so we just ask you to not use this. It just goes to underneath the sink, so just not really a usable area. And then we go to the inside here. So on this handle here, the way these work is you push them up and then you can swivel them. So it's kind of nice. You can put them against the door when you're traveling, just in case for some reason it does come open. This is going to hold it, but it's just designed to be a handle. Just don't crank on this. You will break it if you twist it too much. So just be mindful if you've got kids or whatever. You might want to just leave this closed so they don't try and hang on it or make a jungle gym out of it. And then as we go inside the trailer, the first thing I'll show you are these really cool steps. So when you go in here, these steps will be up like this. So that's what it will look like. There's this blue handle here that disengages them and you can slide them forward. And then to get a level, so it depends on how level the ground is. Like you can't tell on this, but this is kind of unlevel. So this side over here is higher than this side. So what you do is this side maybe only will be to here, and then this side would actually, you'd want to extend this, and you can extend it by pushing this button here, and then you can pull this up or push it down. So you can kind of adjust it for however the ground is. So again, pull that tab, we're gonna let it down here. And so you can see like this side kind of wobbly, so I'd actually extend that arm and then it would make it more stable. So that's how that works there. And then you do have a screen door here, so you can unlatch that. Really nice if you want a breeze to come through or something like that. All right, let's go on the inside and check that out. On the inside of the trailer, we will start at the front and work our way to the back. Up front here, you do have a queen bed, and it is a 10-inch memory foam bed, so it is nice and plush. This is a mattress protector, not a sheet, so you do need to bring a sheet with you or rent the linen kit as an add-on for a sheet, but you do not sleep directly on this, as this is a mattress protector, not a sheet. So you do have some cabinet space here, up here, and on that side you've got some mirrors, you've got some lights back there. And then what's really nice is that these doors here close, so they're held with a little button here, and you pop this off and then you can slide this door closed, so you can close this area and have some privacy. So that's really nice. On this side, this is something that you won't use. There's a Bluetooth speaker. It doesn't come with the trailer, but that's what that's for. This, you got your USB and your 120 volt outlets. Again, these will only, the 120 volts only going to work if you have an electrical connection like a generator or hooked in at a campground. So that's the front area there. Up here we've got your radio. Again, this is something that's not supported, so I can't guarantee that the radio or any connections that you put on the radio or speakers or anything like that are going to work, but this is how you function it, is through this head unit here. You've got some space here. You got some space down here where you could maybe put some shoes, take off your shoes or so. So this is an electric heater here. It acts like kind of a fake fireplace. The functions are right here. So you've got your power and then the different functions as you go through here with these buttons here. So they're gonna work only if you're plugged into power, but this is an electric heater. We've got your kitchen area, so we've got a big sink and the faucet here. This is like a soap dispenser. There's not going to be any soap in it, so that won't work. You've got your cabinet here with your plastic bin with a bunch of items in it. It's got a barbecue lighter, some towing items. It's got the 30 to 15 amp adapter. There's also an instruction manual in here in case you missed this video or you're in a location where you don't have service. You can look at that instruction manual. You've got your microwave, which works just like any other microwave. Again, that will only work off of electricity, so plug-in or a generator. You have your gas stove here, so the first thing you'll want to do if using this is roll up the glass here, and then what you're going to do to start this is that you'll roll it on high, and then you've got your sparker here. You got to make sure that the propane is on, and always turn this to the right. If you turn it to the left, it will break it. So there you go. Again, the propane's not on, so this isn't going to light, but that's how you light this. It's the same way with the oven. You're actually going to use this far knob. So you're going to turn it to the flame, and you're going to hold it in. So you kind of need two hands for this, but you're going to hold this in for like 30 seconds. You're trying to get propane to flow, and then you're going to spark it. It will light down here, if you can see that. That's where the burner is for this, and you'll see the sparker go back there. So again, you just keep holding it down 30 seconds or so, and then try and spark it every 10 seconds or so, and it'll finally light, and then you can turn it to whatever temperature you would like to use for your oven. Instead of an oven and a microwave, you might have a convection oven like this one. It also has an air fryer setting and so on. Again, all of the controls are right here, so you can use that for this for an oven, as a convection oven, or an air fryer, or a microwave. This is your main heater vent right here, and I'll show you the thermostat later. But you got a bunch of storage area. You have your slide out area here. I'll show you the control panel really quick. So it actually works off of motion when it lights up, but it's going to tell you the tanks. So your fresh water is empty right now, black water is empty, gray water is empty. Again, a note on black and gray. So black is your toilet, gray is your sink and showers. Black especially a lot of times doesn't read correctly. The reason why is that a little bit of debris will get stuck on one of the sensors, so it'll read like 2/3 full when it's really empty. So I can guarantee you it is empty when you pick it up. We personally empty them. And then so you've got your battery percentage here. So as we saw, the backup camera, that's what this Bluetooth connection is. So you would scan this, it's going to go through how you do that, and then this is the connection, how you again, not something I can support there because it involves something that's third party. You got your water pump button. Again, with the water pump, what you'll do is you'll turn it on, use the water, and then turn it off. Do not leave this constantly on all the time. The reason why is that, say if you left the trailer and the water line broke, then that's going to just keep pumping water and flood the trailer. So again, turn it on, use the water, turn it off. These are lights, so your awning light, exterior light, which is on the corner on the outside, your living room lights, and the accent lights. If they don't light with these buttons, then they're just a button light. So for example, there's just a button there, and that's how you light those, or all the other lights that aren't connected to these switch. So you got your awning, retract, and that works off the batteries. And the slide works out the battery, so in or out, so pretty self-explanatory there. And then as we go over here to our thermostat area, so this is going to display the ambient temperature. So inside here it is 83 degrees. And then how you work this is it's off right now, but this is the mode button or the select button. And so it's going to say fan low, fan high, cool low, cool auto, and then it's going to have auto high, and then your heat. Your heat is the furnace. So if you want to turn the furnace on, that's all you're trying to do, then you'll just go through the modes, and then you'll select the up or down buttons, and then it's going to be your thermostat. So if you want it to be 70 degrees in here, leave it on there, and then it's going to turn on and off as it hits that, where it's like a thermostat. It is not a temperature gauge, so if you crank it up to 90 degrees, it's not going to warm up faster. It'll just get so hot that it's going to trip the furnace, and then it will stop working. So again, just set it to desired temperature and let it do its thing. And all the other settings are for the AC, which is either a fan or a cool. On the cool, I would say the best thing to do is to set it to cool, low, high, and on auto mode. And then again, your buttons here to set that. Again, it is a thermostat, it's not a temperature gauge, and depending on how hot it is outside, if you're in shade or what your situation is, like, you know, if you're down in Arizona, it's 120 degrees and you have no shade, it is not going to cool this down to like 60 degrees. It's just not going to do it. And then your house wouldn't even do that. So, you know, eventually you'll probably just freeze the AC and then it'll stop working. So be reasonable about the temperature that you set there. Your thermostat might look like this one. If it does, you can get really fancy with this thermostat and download an app to control it, but I'm going to show you the easiest way to operate this. So it's off right now, but if you click this on button, it'll turn on. And I'm sorry about the screen, it's kind of hard to see, but you will see the modes over here on this side. It's on heat right now, but if you click the mode button, it's going to change. So really you only want to be concerned with cool if you want to use the AC, or heat if you want to use the heater, and then F is for Fahrenheit. So let's go to cool here, and then we'd use the buttons up or down, select a temperature that we want to, and then the AC will turn on and off as needed. And then if we go mode down to heater, again, use the up and down buttons, the heater is going to turn on as needed. And that's the easiest way to use this. And this is your AC here, and then it is vented, so it has everything in the roof here comes from the AC. So here's another one right here. Again, your furnace is down here though, and then it is vented to one area right here. With the AC, like I mentioned, it's not designed to run constantly, so it will eventually just freeze up, and then it will just blow air. It's, you know, whatever the ambient temperature air is, so it just turns into a fan at that point. You do have to turn it off and let it thaw. Again, you know, it's best to just turn it off when you're not using it and be realistic about the temperature. You know, if it's 100 degrees outside, even if you're in shade, you're probably only going to be able to get down to like 80 or so. It's not designed to freeze you out of here. So from there, we'll go over here. We've got our fridge, and this works off of, it's a 12 volt DC fridge, so it works off the batteries. These are really good fridges. It's got a freezer up top. It's got a fridge down low, and the freezer just works off of baffles. What I would recommend is just leaving that one in the middle mode here. There is a compressor on it. It works like the fridge at your house. The upside to that is it cools really well. The downside is it does use a lot of battery capacity depending on how hot it is and so on. So the trailer does have 200 watts of solar. It is upgraded, but again, that's all variable of how much sunlight you have on those solar panels on the roof. So just be mindful of how much battery you're going to use if you need a generator and so on. Again, if you do use a generator, you'd have to use an inverter style generator, which the generator will say inverter on it if it's inverter generator. Here, it's really easy to operate. So on this, you probably can't see it in the video, but it says hold 10-second on or off. So this isn't like a really hard button, so you just hold it down. Don't try and push super hard on it, but you just hold it down, and then it will light up, and then it's going to tell you which one you're on. So 3. It's highly recommended to just leave it on 3, maybe 4 max. If you put it on 5 and leave it there, it will eventually freeze the fan, just like how the AC works. It will freeze the fan, and then it just only blows cool air. It kind of just stops working, or it just turns off and this starts blinking. So that you'd have to reset this, either pulling the fuse, for the fridge and then putting it back in. You're gonna have to let it set for a while because it did probably freeze the fan. So again, best to not use 5. Best to stick it on 3 or 4. And again, it's gonna take a while to cool down. It's not, I mean, just imagine if you took the fridge out of your house into 100 degrees and plugged it in, it's gonna take a while to cool down. So same thing here. So just be patient with these fridges. They are great fridges. And then only put cold or frozen items in these. Don't pack these with a bunch of warm soda or something. They're never gonna cool down. They don't have the capacity to do that. Your fridge might look like this fridge. If it does, it's very easy to operate. So it's a freezer on top. There's a handle right here you push in and pull. And then the fridge on bottom, push down and pull. And then really easy, it's just a knob, on off knob. There's an off grid right here. So if you're off grid just using the batteries, you probably want to stick within those. And then you can go to here if you want to get really cold, but again, that's just going to freeze everything. It's not going to cool anything down anything faster. So again, you just turn it to here or halfway or so on, depending if you have shore power or anything, and then that's all you got to do. Very easy. Then turn it off. You just set it to off and it turns off. Right here you've got your bunks. It's nice because there's a ladder here, so you can pull up on this and slide it out, and then you can just walk up the ladder there. Down here is your carbon monoxide and propane detector, propane leak detector. Do not cover this, because if you cover it, it will go off. It will also go off if you spray any aerosol around it. So that way you have to just clear out the area and then it'll turn off. But just know that aerosol and anything covering it is going to set that off too. Got some storage area space down here too. This is a battery disconnect, so if you turn it and pull this out, you saw how that went off. That's because they disconnected the batteries. So if this is off, not displaying anything, most likely the batteries got disconnected and nothing's going to work in the trailer. So make sure that that battery disconnect is on. Down here you've got your fuses, so you just push in, it'll pop out. You've got your breakers and your fuses, and they're all listed. Again, you have some extra fuses in the cabinet above the sink if you need to replace one of them. This goes to your bathroom, which has an exterior door too. So you got your sink, you got your toilet, you got your shower. A note with the toilet is that all RVs, not just these trailers, but all RVs, they can clog the toilet pretty easy because it just goes down into you know, a 90-degree turn. So just know that when you're flushing it, you do need to flush it really good with water. And if you've backed it up and you think, oh, it's full, it's not full. You just clogged it. It would be really hard to fill these. And if it's clogged, that you do need to unclog it. There is a video on how to do that. Basically, you just have to get a stick and push it down, which I know sounds gross, but that's how that is fixed. So got everything in here. This door does have a privacy window shade here. You can open that if you want. And then you've got your hot water heater. So the hot water heater here, again, this is the on-off button. So you turn it on. The recommended setting is 110 to 115 degrees. If you set it higher than that, then you're just gonna have to mix it with cold water, because that's really hot water, which uses probably then more water. So it's easiest just to set it to something that's more comfortable, like 110 to 115 degrees. So there you go. It's a on-demand hot water heater. So once you turn the hot water on, it's just going to warm the water up and spray it. There is a delay though, so just know there is a delay. You might get a little bit of cold water before you get the hot water. You can go through water really fast. So it is a big tank, but you go through it fast. So the recommended is that for like showers, for example, you get in, get wet, turn it off, which you can actually turn it off at the head here, but you can turn it off at the handles down there too. But you get in, get wet, turn it off, lather up, turn it back on, rinse off, and then turn it off. So that way you're not using a whole bunch of water, because you can go through a lot of water in a shower. So that's it for the trailer here. It's a great trailer, lots of room for your family. Again, thank you for renting from Easy Camper Rental, and I hope you enjoy your vacation.